13 years. I shouldn't have to do that still. I had to pretend like I didn't pick the dress, the hair, the shoes. It was all their idea.
Men pretend.
Because
The face you just made is why men pretend.
I will go in the shower and cry and pretend, come back out and pretend I'm okay.
All I have to say to that is, we are sorry.
Hey fam, I have a question for you. Has there ever been a time that you felt like you were pretending, possibly on the job, even with your friends, maybe family? You just didn't really seem to really have it all in regards to that, and you were acting as if you did. Has there ever been a time you felt that way?
Yeah. I have.
I know for a fact that there's been situations where I felt that way. And then today, we're going to dig a little bit into that. So we're going to talk about pretending, the day that we stop pretending. Y'all ready for this? I know I am. This is going to be real good. Let's go for it. So when you think of the word pretending, people look at it, social media, all of that. They talk about it all the time. They say people on social media, it's fictitious. They're pretending to have this life or this happiness or this joy when behind closed doors, they're miserable or things are not going as well as it seems. Do you think that in a blended situation or, marriage period, can that be the case for a lot of people? Even our family, even our friends, our listeners, viewers, had there ever been a time that you felt like, one, you were pretending, or as we as a family were pretending?
I can't think of a time when I felt like we were pretending. Well, I guess pretending is kind of relative, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because I think every marriage, here's the question, from my perspective, here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
Is there such thing as good pretending? Like, is there a time when we should pretend?
I don't get that one. Let me
Okay.
bring it home a little bit, okay?
Mm-hmm.
People can be in marriages and they could pretend like they're happy when they're not.
Right.
They're miserable.
That's a bad pretend.
That's a bad pretend.
Mm-hmm.
What is your good pretend? How can you pretend and it really be good if a person finds out you pretending? There's really no good in that.
Yeah, I think, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think I just feel like maybe pretending, okay, maybe from what I'm saying, my perspective is a different word. Maybe pretending is not the best word.
Okay.
But I feel like every marriage should have, like, nobody should know. Nobody should know except for maybe our internal circle, if there is ever a time when we're not vibing or anything like that.
But okay, so family, so in marriages, I think we pretend at different phases of our marriage. I think we pretend, in that beginning stage, that in between, then when we say I do, I think pretending comes in phases because we could pretend that we're one way when we're actually not. Now, when it comes to blended families, I think pretending is almost a prerequisite a little bit because you have to pretend, especially for the bonus parent or the person coming into a family, that you got this. When you don't, in the back of your mind, you're trying to figure out, like, what is this that I've got myself into? And how do I fit in a situation that's really already has been created? I now have to find my place in it. So I pretend as if I got this when I don't have it. I pretend this ain't gonna be nothing. Because I know for women, we are jugglers, we're multitaskers, we know how to do this and do that. And when it comes to situations like this, oh, that's another thing on our to-do list. We got this. Then in actuality, we don't. I suffer with anxiety. I know there's probably a lot of moms, a lot of families, individuals that suffer with that as well. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it makes sense. I guess it's more so from your perspective. So it's like you feel like there have been times, or not even feel like your um what you're able to say is that you have had times that you have felt like you had to pretend. I can't say that I have felt that there were times that I've had to pretend or as it pertains to the
Babe, have you
blended
ever
situation.
pretended? Have you ever pretended? Let's just be real.
Yeah.
Okay, you've pretended before. What
Right.
did that feel like? And okay, let me ask you something. I'm gonna go a little deeper. You may not like it, but I'm gonna go there. Did you ever pretend in your first marriage?
No, I think everybody pretends in a marriage.
Okay, tell me why. Why do you feel that way?
Because there are just things.
Give me reason.
There are things that are hard. See, this to me, it transitions into a different conversation
Okay.
because it turns to men versus women.
Okay. Well, in blended situation,
That is why
right now in our blended,
is why
it's
men-
man versus woman. So
that's why men often pretend because a lot of times in marriage, I guess you could say even in a blended situation, in the case where, as for me, I was the bio dad.
okay.
Okay, so you know there were moments when the blending situation. Okay, so I guess maybe I can say that I have pretended because there were moments in the blending situation where it has been overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But I couldn't express that.
And okay. So full circle. So now we're talking about it. So as the bio parent and as the bonus parent, there were times I felt like I couldn't express it, how I felt. So we were in the same boat, probably sometimes at the same time, and we were pretending with to each other when we should be as vulnerable as possible.
Right.
Correct?
Yeah.
So how many people do you think right now, as we're talking, are pretending that everything is good, everything is okay, but they're fearful, they're wondering, what is this? Why is this gonna work? Is it not? These kids don't like me, they do, I gotta deal with this ex-wife, ex-husband, all that stuff. It's all a game of pretend, and I hate to say game, I'm sorry, but it almost is because it's a game within your mind. I'm sorry if you don't agree, but I think it's a game all within our minds of we feeling like we have to pretend in order to get through. And I don't think we do. Where's there a place that you create safety, like my dope blend? Safety to talk through all of it.
I guess you have to have that community. You have to have that a person that you can be open with, and in most cases you do. Like in most cases, husbands might have a best friend, or they might have another husband that they can vent to. As I'm sure moms do as well, and mothers do, and fathers do, and whether bonus moms and bonus dads, they have somebody that they can talk to. But I feel like in a marriage, in a blended dynamic, in a marriage dynamic, there are just things that you shouldn't have to pretend, but it's just, you're going to.
We need to talk more about that.
Well,
because I want to know.
You want to know what?
I want to know what the pretending is. No, seriously, I want to know. You are my safe place. I'm supposed to be your safe place.
Right.
We create a safe environment for our children.
Right.
And that's for Kirsten and Kyla, and that's for Carter and Cooper. So we want to, and I think we do well with that, with allowing them to be themselves and say their truth and express, even if we don't agree, even if it makes us feel uncomfortable. I think we create that space. So if we create that space for our kids,
yes,
shouldn't we create that space for us?
We should. However, speaking from a male point of view, or a male perspective, as a husband, there are things that I cannot, or I won't say I cannot, but there are things that I intentionally throw on my back and I carry it. And I pretend that everything is good, even when sometimes they're not. That's not a marital thing.
That's a
an
man thing.
everyday life, living, providing,
That's
and that face
That's
is
a man
why men pretend.
because
The
of my
face you just made is why men pretend, because it's diminished. You ask me a question and I'm answering it, but you make a face. So that's why men pretend, because men feel like being honest leads itself to the face, leads itself to the, oh, you don't know what it's like. If a man comes in and says, oh, I'm tired, working today, you tired. I worked today too. I had to do this for the kids. I had to do that. I also had to do this, and I had to do that. So, and what does the man normally? We eat it.
Mm-hmm.
We take it in.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day when we come in, we pretend we're not tired. Because yesterday I was tired and I said I was tired.
Mm-hmm.
But what I was met with caused me to not say that no more.
Mm-hmm.
That is a lot of times what lends to pretending. I guess I could say that that's how you felt as a bonus parent, because I'm sure that there were times when you would share with me how you felt, and I might squash it and say, hey, you know what it was when you came into this situation. You knew when you got here that I had kids.
Yeah, when you got smile on my face. For all those viewers that are viewing,
when you got here,
I'm smiling. And for those that are listening,
I had that. Mm-hmm. So I can see how there were times where you may have shared how you felt, and then I shut it down, which would cause you to pretend.
And guess what? Not even that. Some things are not always you. Sometimes I had to pretend for the kids.
Right.
In settings where I felt most uncomfortable. I felt uncomfortable. I felt out of place. But I had to feel like, or I was made to feel like, this is our thing that we got you a part of.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I gotta pretend I'm good with it, because
right. So
this ain't so, wait, because at the time, we weren't married, so this is his thing, this is his family, and I'm the girl that's coming in, and I feel uncomfortable. I want to say it, I want to express it, but I can't, because if I express it, I look bad. I look bad on every corner, in every way. I look bad for coming to you, because am I not an understanding girlfriend to the kids, because they looking at you like that's my dad and that's my mama. Okay. And so who is saying, okay, but that's you, that's Leslie. She feels out of place. Nobody.
Okay. So you pretend.
So I pretended.
Right. So everybody pretends.
Yeah, but the pretending didn't feel good. And that's what I'm trying to express.
Right.
That we shouldn't have to pretend, that we should create a space where you can be open to say that and people not feel threatened by your emotions or think that has a negative or should have a negative impact on the dynamic that you're trying to create. Why should it? Why pretend? Now be tactful in what you want to express or how you want to express it, when you want to express, and read the room, understand, that everything, there's a time for everything.
Uh-huh.
But I think we need to do better with that. I think in relationships with blended, when you're dealing with people with other children, with their own kids, you have to take those things into consideration. And we're going to talk a little bit more in detail about this because, for me now it's getting to a little bit of a pain point because, I didn't realize in some situations I was pretending more than I was being me.
Okay, so you're saying that we're going to dig into it because it's a bit of a pain point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so elaborate.
Okay. Do you want me to get a story? I think y'all like stories. I think stories help people kind of feel like they're there. Okay, so there was a situation where this was later on when we got married. I'm going to use that as an example, where I love, for those who are hearing, listening, I love fashion. I love all of those things. That's just my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And my bonus girls, you know, the oldest is into that with me. You know, they look at me for those type of things. And so, you know, when it was time for them to go to one of their dances, you know, who they come to help pick a dress out, but I gotta pretend that I didn't help. Every time I say pretend, I want y'all to get it, to write it down, then I want y'all to be like, she pretended all them times. I had to pretend like I wasn't helping. And you know, I'm telling the truth. Okay. I had to pretend like I didn't pick the dress out. I had to pretend like I didn't help with the hair or pick the hairstyle. I had to pretend like I didn't purchase or help you purchase the shoes. I had to pretend like it was all their idea. I had to then go to the actual event, or, you know, as we're taking pictures, and pretend like I didn't suggest this restaurant or that place or that. I had to pretend. You know what I had to do? I had to act like it was through my husband, because that's how it was always portrayed. That's how it still always is portrayed, that it's my husband's idea, when it's usually mine. And I have to pretend that that's okay. And honestly, actually, I feel like I'm about to get emotional. And actually, after almost 13 years, I shouldn't feel like I have to pretend. If it's my idea, it's my idea. If I chose the shoes, I chose the shoes. If I chose the trip for our sweet 16 because I brought it up and she grabbed it and said, I love it, but I gotta pretend that I didn't help her choose that, and I went on the trip. But I had to make it feel like it was her mom's idea when it was not. But I have to pretend. I have to suck it up and pretend. And I have to go and I have to smile and I have to wave and I have to do this as I walk away and they talk about me. I have to pretend it's all good. That doesn't feel good. And I am very expressive to you, but there's something I will go in the shower and cry and pretend, come back out and pretend I'm okay. 13 years, I shouldn't have to do that still. So how many people listening to us see us and they don't know, you know, that in some cases I do have to pretend. It's a part of, it's my prerequisite to this life. This is what it is. What you have to say to that?
I feel like I would have to stand proxy. There's a thing that they say in the church, standing in the gap.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I would need to stand in the gap for the girls, their mom, their family,
Mm-hmm.
myself, and everybody else that caused you to not feel like you had to pretend, because obviously you didn't just feel like you had to pretend, you pretended. So all I have to say to that is, we are sorry. Because what else can I say?
When does it come a point? And
Here's the question. What are you looking for from me?
I'm not looking for it just from you. I'm looking for it from the entire, we're our family.
Right.
We're a family.
Okay.
So why do we have to hide behind the veil of, okay, but she can't know this
Right.
because we still got to protect.
Yes.
There's a protection after 13 years that shouldn't be.
But this goes back to season 2. When you asked me, was I protecting her? There is a certain understanding that has nothing to do with her, but it has to do with, we can use case in point.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to season 1.
Okay.
The end of season 1, we had an interview with Kirsten and Kylie.
Yes.
Okay. And they felt safe enough to share their story. They felt safe enough to share how they felt throughout the process. And then after we finished taping the episode, they were hit with the reality of the conversation that they had. And they were hit with the anxiety and the fear of what it would cause. So we went through a whole thing. Nobody would know that we went through a process of trying to even figure out if we were even going to air the episode.
All right.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that I have always stressed as the bio dad. Even my being willing to allow us to not share that episode had nothing to do with my ex-wife. It had everything to do with the safety and the peace of my girls. Okay. So, although it's not right for you to have felt like you had to pretend, in your mind, you were pretending still to protect her. When sometimes it had nothing to do with her, it made you an amazing person that was willing to consider the feelings of the girls. You didn't lie and pretend about not talking about the dress and the clothes that you helped pick out because of her. You pretended because the girls wanted you to, because they felt a way.
So I guess, and you know what? Honestly, this conversation creates a whole another topic for the children. Because at what point do we not put the pressure and anxiety on our children to make them feel like they can't be expressive or open or honest in regards to their bio and their bonus?
So
because they're scared.
But here's my question.
They're scared to ruffle feathers. They're scared to muddy. They're scared.
Here's my question.
How many kids are right now scared?
Do you feel like when you and I got together, the girls were how old?
6 and 7.
6 and 7. 6, 7. Okay. Now, fast forward, the girls are 19 and 20.
Yes.
Okay. Do you feel like there's been no progress? Do you feel like the girls have not been able to at all take it, now be able to express when they feel away or tell the truth about certain decisions? I'm not saying 100%.
All right. Okay.
All I'm asking you is, do you not feel like there has not been any progress? You still feel like you got to pretend the same degree that you pretended 6 years ago?
No, I don't.
So then there's progress.
There has been progress, but we're talking about it.
Right.
So in talking about it, I still have these feelings that I've suppressed.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
And
so it's coming up. It's coming
that's
out.
What we're here for. That's what we're here to talk about, and I understand it, right?
Yeah.
But now let me be real. Okay? Let me not pretend. So that is why when you asked me the question, you start out asking me, do I feel like we pretend? Or do I feel like we have pretended? Or do I feel like I have pretended? Right? Mm-hmm. And in some ways, I was able to answer that question from the perspective of a husband and a father. Yes. But when it comes to this blended dynamic, you've done the pretending. This is your story that they need to hear. because you're the bonus one.
Y'all saw how he did that?
I'm just saying, you want me to give an answer, and the answers are coming from you.
The answers are coming from me, and the vulnerability is coming from me. And I honestly think when we talk about these things, my goal is always to help. I love talking about it. I love when people say they're listening to the podcast and, they're like, it helped me so much. I didn't think about this. I didn't think about that. But, and I'm about to get teary-eyed again. Oh my God. But, but the truth of the matter is it helps me. Because when you suppress things for so long, it almost becomes like a vault. And you don't realize it. When a vault is, you keep it there. It's just lock and key. That's throw it away, And then when you start talking about it, it's almost like some invisible key or something causes that vault to open and everything starts flooding out. And then it causes you to face the fears, anxiety, pressure. It's a lot of pressure.
I get what you're saying. Again, I feel like the best way to convey this message is through you. It's your story. They need to hear that. I think pressure is like the best word that you could have used, because one of the things that we are grateful for is the alleviation of pressure. And we get that from our amazing sponsors. Yes. And so we're just so thankful for our amazing sponsors that continue to allow us to bring My Dope Blend podcast to you and to your household, to everyone that's listening. I mean, we have found out that people of all ages and all demographics have been listening. And so we're just grateful for all of you that have been tuning in, listening, and viewing. And we want you to continue to be a part of the conversation. You can subscribe. Make sure you turn those notifications on so that every time we go live, you know that My Dope Blend podcast is going live. We want you to subscribe, like, comment. I mean, the comments have been overwhelming. The comments from men,
yeah,
that is what has been really hitting me hard, because men don't always get the opportunity they don't always have outlets. You talk about pressure, men don't always have outlets. And so I'm representing for the men this season. And so for all of you that are watching, we want to thank our amazing sponsors, and we want to get you to like, subscribe, and comment. Let's keep the conversation going, like this conversation that we have right now.
Let's do it. Let's keep going.
So pressure.
Pressure. So, I feel like there's, like I stated, a lot of pressure on bonus parents. And for that, I want to express to all my viewers, to all my listeners, you are not alone. What you feel, what you think, how you go about your day. And I don't know why I'm getting emotional today. You are not alone. And know that in your moments of silence, that silence brings strength. It brings maturity, and it speaks very, very loud in its own particular way. Don't think that because you're not saying, or you're not reacting at the moment, that you're not being seen. Be your authentic self. One thing that I will say about myself, I'm going to be Leslie no matter what. And I need my listeners, my bonus moms and my bonus dads to be you. Don't change who you are to fit in a situational or in an environment. Be authentic. That's your gift. Kindness, being authentic is a gift. Remember that. But I also want to say this to you, because you said that, you put them in, and I get that. I'm not trying to put pressure on you. That's not what I'm trying to do. As your wife, as your friend, I'm not at all trying to do that. I just want you to see sometimes where I'm coming from or where I've been. And sometimes I feel like I'm still sitting there. It's just a situation looks different, but it is all, And it's still the same. The playbook might slightly, but it's still the same scene. And it doesn't feel good all the time, because at moments, that's when you feel like you're on the out looking in. And I think we've gotten 13 years in, we are our own beautiful dynamic, and I love who we are. I do. And I've learned to have my voice. And I think, give me a little credit, I've learned to have my voice at the right time. I don't express everything right then and there as my emotions are going. I sometimes want to, but I keep them to myself at moments. And you got to know when. And it's for the sake of the children and for your spouse, because in them protecting you, you have to protect them.
And I think that that's a part of the perspective. I think that there were two things that I made sure that I brought up.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was perspective. And that's something that throughout this entire blending process, I have always tried to make sure was at the forefront of my motives and my MO and how I operate. I'm a person that likes to make sure that you understand the perspective of where I'm coming from. And so that's why I bring up that there were times when we could use as an example, there were times when you would say, why are you playing that? Why are you still doing that? Why are you still in this thing? Why are you still in the weeds of this? And why are you still taking care of this? And that's not happening over there. And this is not happening over there. Why are you still? And my response would always be, it has nothing to do with, it has everything to do with Kirsten and Kyla. If it's going to make Kirsten better, if it's going to make Kyla better, I could care less what's happening over here, because my perspective is that I'm doing it for my daughters the same way I would do for Carter and Cooper, right? There are certain things that the average person would say, why are you doing it? Why are you still doing it? And there are things I ask you all the time. Why are you doing it? Why are you doing this for them? Why are you doing this? And you'll say, no, I do what I got to do for my kids, for my boys, for my girl. So perspective, so I brought up perspective earlier in the conversation because there were times that I would just want you to understand that you would feel like you were pretending so that it could make her okay.
No, there were times I was pretending also to make sure you and the girls, because I felt like I had to, it was a play and I had to be a part of it. And I had, this is the playbook. Okay. So we can't say this. We're not supposed to say this, because you said to me before, in reality, we've created a monster because we don't always tell her the truth.
Right. I understand that. What I'm saying is that their perspective lets you know when it's this and when it's this. And it's easy to, they are red, orange, yellow, purple, and green. I almost said grape, but that's not a color. That's a flavor. Okay. They are red, orange, yellow, purple, and green in here. When you blend it all together, it just looks like one big bowl of a bunch of different colors. But the reality of it is there are red, yellow, orange, green, and purple Skittles in here. Sometimes it's easy to blur everything as if it's all going in one direction. And what I'm saying is that you're not lying. I agree with you. There were some times when it was about her, when it was in consideration of her. But then there were times where it had nothing to do with her. It had to do with the protection of the girls, the protection of their feelings, the protection of her.
Yeah.
There were some times when it was the protection of me.
But listen, but as a bonus parent, where at times does protection come from me? Where, listen, where does it come from me? Where does it come? I have to look out for my wife, my man, my whatever, because they're up against a wall, and you're not recognizing it because you're so busy protecting one, which I understand, the children, but as you stated, also the ex, and then making sure you're doing what you're supposed to do. But in you got that person sitting over here like, I'm drowning,
Right.
trying to fit in, and not ruffle feathers and look like the bad person.
I understand that, but here's why I say that. You're going to sit here and tell me that in 13 years, I never protected you? Did I never consider your feelings? Did I never care about just you? Did I never make decisions along the way that protected you? Did I never do things to say, no, you're not going to do that to her? No, we're not going to do that because my wife deserves better. My wife deserves this. My wife deserves. Leslie's a good woman. She's doing right for those girls. I'm not going to let you say this. I'm not going to let you talk. Well, there never times. And I'm not saying that to defend myself. I'm asking you because of the point that I'm proving. Do you feel like there were never times when that happened?
No, I feel like there are. Okay, in our situations, yes, we got to that point, and we're being honest. Everyone, we're listening, and I want you guys to take this. We're not being combative with each other. We're being honest.
Explain that.
I want them to understand, because to me, this is another thing. Yeah. This is real, and this is something to me that they can do as well. Be honest. Have the uncomfortable conversation.
Yeah, but that took work, though.
It took work, but you got to.
13 years.
No, it just didn't take 13 years.
No, I'm not saying that it took the whole 13 years and now we're just getting there. I'm saying that took 13 years of conversation.
Yeah, but guess what? We have listeners that's 20, 30 years past us in it and still trying to figure it out. So trying to figure it out. So
the question is. Oh, you fam, I'm trying to figure it out.
It is a forever thing. It is, because as things change, as the girls will get older, situations will change that kind of will almost revert you back.
Yeah, because they're going to get married. Never faced.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They're going to get married.
Right.
They're going to have
children. Who's going to choose the wedding dress?
Who's going to choose it? Oh my God!
Like, what song you going to come down on? And I mean, are you going to be living in the sky and she going to be always? You just don't. You know. So I get it.
Yes.
But the point that I'm making, though, the two things I brought up were, one, perspective, being able to identify why you're doing the things. I'm not taking away from the fact that you felt like you were pretending. I'm not taking away from that. But what I am talking about is that you weren't always pretending to protect or consider her. Some things you do because you want to make the bonus children safe. You want to make the kids safe. You want to make your spouse safe, right? Yeah. So that was the first thing. And then the second thing that I made sure that I brought up was the fact that the pressure, I don't even remember the second thing I brought up.
I want to say something.
Go ahead.
So I'm for those who are listening and viewing, I have a quote that I think is befitting to what I'm saying. And this is to help you all too with this. As you mature, because it is a maturity walk. Because you're going to be hit with so many different things through this blended family, bonus mom, bonus dad journey. But as you mature, you have to realize, the quote says that nothing is ever lost. It's either redirection, protection, or a realization. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to touch every last one of those things. I look at the girls and I know that the things that I've done, even though it was hard for me, and it didn't always feel good, I know that it was a purpose for them because they see my heart in it. And you know that I do it for them as much as sometimes it pains me. Because it's not always, it doesn't feel good. Taking the punches and having to pivot and not always be Leslie when I want to be Leslie, because I want to protect them and their feelings and the whole dynamic, because I want it to be harmonious. So I know when they look at me, they see that. They've said it to me. So I get that. And then so in that I redirect sometimes what it is or how it's perceived. Like as you stated, okay, I gotta pretend for this moment, but it's because of this. Because when I see the smile on her face, on Kirsten's face or Kyla's face, I know that it's all for them. A purpose is being directed to them, as I would do for Carter and Cooper. I'm protecting them. I'm protecting an uncomfortable situation that they are in too. I'm protecting their hearts. I'm protecting their safety net. And I'm continuing to allow that to be just that, safety for them. I don't ever want them to feel like with me they can't be safe. I always want them to feel like, regardless of how they hurt me, sometimes to hear certain things, that I'm mature enough to take it in, but still create a safety net for them. Because I think all in all, that's a part of being a mom. Be a bonus mom, bio mom, whatever. It's a mom. You're a mom. You're a dad. It doesn't matter if you have bonus or bio. It all is heart. So that's my realization. But it's not. It's not the best feeling. And I pray to God all the time to make sure that I'm doing the right thing at the right moment, at the right time, that has the right effect on them. I don't know what else to say to that. It's just,
who is the quote by?
Self-respect.
And you accept this thing. You bless your life.
That's all it says. Self-respect.
Better. Because I feel like you just summed up everything I've been trying to say.
Yeah, but you live it, but you're not in my boots. Well, I'm in the cutest boots too. But you're not in them.
But I'm never going to be.
Yeah.
I've never been a bonus parent. I done messed with some women that had children.
We're not going there.
But I've never been a bonus parent. I never crossed the threshold. Never crossed over. But I've never been a bonus. I've never been
That's
a
when
bonus
I want to
parent.
smack you.
I'm just saying, I've never been a bonus parent. I've never been in your shoes. Never. And I never will be. So there are realities that when you ask me, and my response is, there are some things that I can't identify with you about. There are some things that I can't. When you ask me, you ever pretend? Of course, everybody pretends. When I ask the question, is there such thing as good pretending? I get your point when you say you shouldn't have to pretend, you should be honest. But if that's the case, then when you get to work, don't code switch. If that's the case, but everybody pretends sometimes. And when they pretend, they're either pretending to redirect or to protect. And what was the third thing?
Realization.
And a realization.
But you can't live there.
I agree with that.
You can't live in it.
I agree. But, and you should not, and you should not have had to. Now, I'm also a realist. You know that about me.
Mhm.
I'm a faith walker, but I'm also a realist. And the realist in me, yes, though it may seem insensitive at times as a man, at work at times, you're the emotional one. I'm not
Clearly.
emotional. I'm not
Clearly.
emotional. You're the emotional one. I can be emotional. I feel like I'm in touch with my emotions, but I'm not emotional. That's not my first instinct. What do we have to do to fix this? What is the solution? How do we get over it? I'm also a realist, so I'm the type of person where I feel like this is the situation, this is how we came into it, this is what we brought it, and so that's what I am going to do. So when you hear me responding to you certain ways, I'm not trying to be, insensitive. I'm just a man, and sometimes as a man, when I see you getting emotional, my first thought is to just be like, I get it, I understand, but it is who we are. It's the situation we're in, and what are we gonna do? Because I'm sure there have been times when I've made this statement to you. You know what I brought to the table when we got into this. We went into this with two girls. You knew what it was, so that's the realist in me. But as your husband, I want to protect you. I want you to get to a place where you don't have to pretend, where you feel like you no longer have to pretend. Because there is a benefit in getting to a place. It's okay, it's the Mondo Blend House. We are in the Mondo Blend House, so you hear the kids, we're in the Mondo Blend House. There is a benefit to not pretending. Like, we're not going to pretend like we don't hear the boys in the background. There is a benefit to not pretend. I think that there is a freedom to not pretend. Part of the reason why I got divorced in the first place was because in my first marriage, I was a pretender. I was not great. I don't know who I was, but I know I wasn't me.
And so how many people can identify with that? How many marriages are pretending at this very moment? Husbands are pretending at this very moment. It's a what's the phrase? It's a not crooked road. It's just a winding road.
Sure.
It's ebbs and flows as you go.
But you said it best. You said, find your voice.
Find your voice.
And when you find your voice, you also, okay, I'm not gonna preach.
Please don't.
But Solomon, God
I
said,
didn't mean it like that.
God said you can have whatever you like.
Mm-hmm.
Solomon said, give me what? Wisdom.
Yeah.
When you pray and you're praying and you ask, when you say, how long do I have to stop? How long will I have to pretend? How long will I have to act like, how long will I have to not be free and be who I am and not be able to share and shout who I am, right? You got to pray for your voice, and you also got to pray for wisdom. Because wisdom will tell you how to navigate through the pretending. Wisdom will help you get around the pretending. Wisdom will show you how to be your authentic self, but be wise about it.
Yeah.
See, a lot of times people, they get frustrated in the pretending and they say, I'm not going to pretend anymore. So they break out and then they say what they want to say. A lot of people say that about older people. You get to a certain age and you just
say whatever you want to say.
Say what you want to say. You do what you want. But they also become ornery. They become mean. They become, that's not wise. So wisdom gets you to a place where you say, God, help me find my voice, but also help me to have the wisdom to know when to use my voice, how to use my voice, what to say, when to say it,
Yeah.
how to say it.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, when you get to that place, what'll happen is that the wisdom that you use will cause the people who have made you feel like you have to pretend, they start to get confused. Because they're like, when did this switch start happening?
Yeah.
See?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the benefit of not, that's the freedom that comes with not pretending. Gets us to a place where I feel like we are now. We're in a great place.
We are.
But the conversations drudge up.
That feelings, emotions, all of those things, the things that I don't expect at times, because, you know, as someone who feels the need to create a space for others to come, you know, like I said, it's therapeutic for me too. I'm speaking to you all, but I'm also speaking to myself. You know, if someone was able to say these things to me when I was going through them, I would be like, oh, I'm not alone. Jesus, thank you. I got somebody else that's going through the exact same thing and feeling the exact same way. And we can lean on each other. That's what we are to each other at this very moment, right here, right now. I believe that, you know, what we're doing is, you know, creating this blended family dynamic club community that, you know, we can show people and people can see the true, authentic, transparent beauty of blending. It's not all roses in the park. Oh, baby, no. But at the end of the day, though, it's something that you've curated into your own. It's a beautiful masterpiece that you get to put your pieces of the puzzle in. It's pretty cool. That's what it is.
I agree.
And I will say that even in the midst of my tears, I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't.
Oh, really?
Oh, God. All right, stop. Because me saying that, that's enough.
Oh, okay. All right, y'all got it. Y'all got that, did you? She didn't trade it.
I wouldn't trade that.
So, you know, I mean, I too agree that it has been an amazing journey. Everything that you have experienced as a bonus mom has brought you to this place. It has made you wiser. It's made you stronger. It's made you better. And it has caused you to be able to help others. That is why I am so proud of you for writing this new book.
Y'all should see my face. What? A book?
Yes.
Oh.
I can honestly say that
I'm excited.
That the book that you have written is helpful, it's insightful, it's thoughtful, it's personal. And I think that it is something that can be of benefit to you. Those of you who are blending, it is just a great tool and a great resource for all people who need some support in the blending process and in the blending process. So listen, you have got to go to the website, www.mindoblend.com.
Yes.
Got to get on the waiting list for this book. It is done. It is written, and we will let you know when it release date, because it is amazing. I have read. That's how I know it's done, because I read it.
Y'all, and that's a big deal.
I'm a reader. I just like to listen to the books. I'm
But no, I'm excited. I don't call myself an author. I just call myself. I am a woman who has a heart for blended, and I have a heart for this community. And I hope you guys get on the list so you can get it. I'm so excited. And I hope it will bless your homes, you, bonus parents, bonus dads, bonus moms, blended families. Let's do it.
Do it.
All right. So please, know this, remember this, that you don't have to pretend. Pretending stops today. Pretending stops now. And moments, they will come back. but we will then focus and do the tools and the things that we need to do in order to be our authentic selves. And in that, I'm going to be my authentic self, and I'm going to choose agree. I'm personally going to choose agree.
Sure.
Because I think today I talked about all, some of the struggles and things that I've experienced, but this green one is to talk about somewhat of what we call a victory, something that was a good feeling. And I will share a quick story, and I won't be long in sharing it. I think I told you guys this about Kyla when she decided to change her major for school, and Kyla is thriving, you guys, in school. But I'm going to use Kirsten. Kirsten is graduating soon from college, and I had the experience of being in my 20s and loving life and experiencing it to the very fullest. And it's so crazy because Kirsten is now in that place, and she looks to me to experience those same things. So when she looks at me, she sees me as that person to help guide her through that part of her life. And so for me, that is a win green, and I'm eating it. I feel good.
It is a win.
So remember, you guys, keep blending. We love you. Know that every day will be a different hurdle, but yet you will also have a victory in it all. Remember to always keep your family, your dynamic, most important. Don't ever shy away from who you are. Be your authentic self. Be honest with yourself. Be transparent with your spouse. Create a safe place for you and your family. Keep blending. We love you. And peace out.